All right, Josh Hennig hanging out in the 97.3 ESPN studios. I got Andy McNamara joining me. So we are supposed to be starting the 97.3 ESPN Fantasy League draft. Andy is the reigning champion from last year.
There's the ring, baby. Champ is here. Boom. I got my fantasy champion shirt as well. You can order it at AndyMC81 on Twitter. Cheap plug. Sorry.
So the problem is that the man who is drafting number 1 overall, he is not here.
What a way to start the year.
And I have multiple people texting me, asking me to just send the link. And well, Andy can verify because he's literally in the stream that I sent the link. So
I'm here. Yeah.
I literally have everything set up for everyone to be here. I was prepared maybe like 40 minutes ago. Andy kind of strolled in about like 20 minutes early, like a professional that he is.
That's right.
And nobody else is being professional. So I'm trying to decide. I'm trying to decide, do I need to roll back this draft? Because I can't have people auto drafting. Okay.
I hate auto draft. Starts in 17 seconds, apparently. Maybe push it back. Maybe push it back like 8:05. Like Clemic's got to be in here soon, right? 8:10. Push it back 10 minutes.
I'm trying to do it right now. So if you can just help me by like killing some time here.
Yeah. Hey man, no, let's do it. Oh, hey now. All right. Yes, we're. Oh, isn't that great? You get the first overall pick, not there. That's just how it goes. That's why when we talk on the show,
okay, I stopped it. Woo!
You stop, but that's why we talk on the show of general fantasy draft strategy and all that. Really, it comes down to you have to know your league, right? You have to know if there's going to be somebody who's going to draft.
Flemick literally just walked in. Dave, we don't care about the shirt. You're late. You have the first overall pick. I'm literally live on the stream. You're sitting right over here. Where's your laptop? Dave, say hi to the people out there. Wave at the camera.
Hey, Dave.
Dave was more interested in bringing this t-shirt that he made than he was in the fantasy draft. This is so Clemic.
Is he hawking shirts?
I mean, literally, I got the damn cord there for you, Dave. I got the mic here for you. I mean, I have everything set up for you. And I had to pause the draft because you were running late.
We're on.
We've been on.
Wait, this is the real NFL draft.
I told you this was
Shut up. I thought we were just streaming this together. Oh, man.
Dave Clemic is here.
What's up, everybody?
Hey, Dave, how are you, man?
Well, it's good.
All right, Dave, get your thing set up there.
All
so, because you have the first over, I literally had to pause the draft because of you.
All right, I'm taking Christian McCaffrey.
Oh, you changed your mind again?
Yeah.
Oh,
good grief.
PJ changed my mind.
Take Jalen Hurts first overall. Trust me. Take him first. Leave McCaffrey till 10. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. He's gonna get hurt. Don't worry.
I'm taking Christian McCaffrey.
Rats.
All right. So apparently the only thing I can do is I don't know where Dave just went. Dave just walked away from me.
What? I saw the chair spin like a cartoon. Woo!
All right. I'm reloading this. All right.
Oh, there we go. Now, do I have to refresh on my stream?
I don't know. We're gonna find out here.
Okay, let's see here.
By the way, Casey Joyner is also here, the football scientist. He joins Mike Gill Monday through Friday on 97.3 ESPN. Casey, we had to hit the restart button on the draft timer because the number 1 pick was running late.
I really did not know we were going to be on the air. I just thought we were doing this for like just a couple of guys doing.
See, well, you're just like everybody else. You don't listen. Casey, you've been involved in about 1 million drafts over the years. What are your thoughts on the number 1 pick in the draft being late for his own draft?
Well, the thing is, if it auto drafts for him, then that's usually there's still a great pick. So I've seen it happen before where people have missed the first one, and hey, you end up with CMC. All right, it could be worse if you're picking 12. It's a lot worse because you don't know what you're going to get.
Well, that's the question. So Andy and then Casey answer this question: should we have just let it auto pick for Dave, and he would have been stuck with whoever he got?
Yes, like the real NFL draft. You're not ready. You get cut. That's it. I say yes.
It's tough. You know what? I'm of the Bobby Bowden school when it comes to things like that. You give him one chance. If it happens one year, you don't give him another chance the second time. You give him one chance to make that mistake. Always give somebody a second chance. And Bobby Bowden. Do you put this in perspective? Bobby Bowden gave Randy Moss a second chance. He did not give him a third chance. Randy Moss. He kicked Moss off the team after giving them the second chance because Lou Holtz had kicked him off the team and said, Bobby, this guy's real talented. Bobby takes him on the team and said, hey, you had your first chance of Lou. You're getting a second of me. Moss did something to screw up, and Bobby kicked him off the team. So I'm of that mindset. Give everybody a second chance, not a third.
All right, so Dave, what do we got going on over here? You got like the Fort Knox going on over here. You're setting up here. Is that what you're doing, Clement?
I was trying to find all my cords and everything like that, and so I could get on my face on the screen over here. I didn't know.
I told you didn't need that. I just needed you to be on the draft on the computer. Alan, I literally tilted the screen so you could be next to me over here.
All right. Well, now we're on the screen together.
There we go.
There we go.
Layers.
All right, Mr. Negadelphian over here.
Yeah, so PJ Corda, who joins Billy Schweim on Saturdays on 97.3. So PJ, here's the problem. So Clemic was late. So because Clemic was late, we had to push the draft back.
Well, I mean, just auto pick for him.
Okay, so everyone says I just should have auto picked. See, that's interesting.
If you're not here, you get top talent, right?
Still get Chris McCaffrey.
I'm taking this pick on PJ's recommendation. So thank you.
Oh, so we gotta blame PJ for this. Okay.
I don't know. He was thinking about picking a quarterback. I was like,
I know. He told me. He told me.
Yeah. I mean, Josh said, "Why would you do that?" I go, "He's the best
Do you
player."
have the thing on your screen yet?
Oh, my computer's dead. And
plug it in.
There's no plug for it.
It's right there on the floor.
No. There's no plug at all.
No.
There's there's no port. I don't have that. We don't have a USB-C to USB-C.
We need like the old Simpsons technical difficulties picture where it has the dog with the plug in the mouth unplugged from the TV.
Yes, it does.
I gotta do everything around here, folks. I gotta do everything.
Do it all.
By the way, Billy Schweim just popped into the conversation. Billy Schweim, the locker room. Yeah, Billy, how you feeling? I know you're not feeling that great. Billy, is your mic on?
I think he lost his voice.
Oh, you're on mute, I think, Billy.
I think it's Billy's TV or was that PJ's TV in the background?
Oh, here, I'll turn it off. My bad.
No, you're fine. You're fine. It's just I was trying to figure out who's Billy. I don't think you're plugged in there, Billy. So you gotta make sure your mic is set up there. All right, we'll pop Billy out for a minute. So the countdown timer says 8 minutes. So we're gonna start this draft in 8 minutes. I'm gonna see if I can make sure these picks are more rapid fire, just so it's like not taking forever here. Hey guys, do we think 60 seconds is good enough here?
Yeah, it's plenty.
Yeah.
All right.
I did have the charger.
Oh, Clemic found his charger, by the way. He didn't need the one I gave him.
Nice.
Oh, this is so fun. Look at everybody. I don't know what I'm doing, guys.
Could you maybe pull it up on your phone if the stupid pad's not working? I mean,
wait, but Dave, you were logged in before, wasn't he?
He said I was logged in. I thought Josh did it for me.
No, I'm logged in.
Oh,
that screen in front of you is my login, the league manager login. So
are we live?
No, you know what?
Right
It's
we're live on my YouTube channel.
Okay, it's his pick. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, it's just his pick.
All right, Casey. So let me jump in, Casey, then Andy. All right. So Casey, for you, who are the guys that you think should be the top picks in a fantasy draft this year?
I've got my draft guide here. I'm looking at my charts right now. I do these color-coded charts. I send to everybody who gets it, and it depends on league type and things. But I give my a top. I tell you, I rank players in my. If I'm looking at like full PPR or actually in any scoring environment, I give different positions a boost or a drop based on how many players there are in that position, good players in that position. Like this year's ton of really good wide receivers. So I scale back the value on wide receivers when comparing them as a whole. Like I put together a whole top 257 list for these charts. And so receivers get a little bit of a downgrade, and quarterbacks usually get something of a downgrade depending on the year, and running backs do okay. But this year, I got 4 guys who can be justified at number 1 overall. I got McCaffrey, Hall, Robinson, and Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs. I've got them all with an adjusted grade of 99, which is tops in the league. I mean, Barkley's right behind it, 98.9, but that's, those are 5 guys who I'm okay with having any of those guys as my number 1 pick. I had got, like I was in draft recently, somebody asked me to draft from 2 to 1. Or you say, hey, I want you to trade up to 1. I'm like, I don't see the value in trading up to 1. Why would I give anything for that? I mean, I consider 1 through 4 to have almost equal value in many fantasy drafts.
Andy, your reaction to that?
Yeah, I know. I'm with KC there. When it comes to Christian McCaffrey, I have him a little bit higher on his own tier level, just because he's such a unicorn, right? Like he is the motor of that San Francisco offense, and he does everything. And really, the offense collapses without him. So to me, I put Christian McCaffrey a little bit above, which is why he should be. Now we can say health and all that, and that is going to be what it is. But McCaffrey's on a level on his own. Now after that, I'm with KC on. You have to look at the available options. We know running backs, such few true, if you want to call them bell cows or true number 1s. You got to make Bijan, Breece Hall priorities. And then you get into that CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill, Jamar Chase type of area. So that's where I come out on it.
PJ, your thoughts on Dave Klemick needing me to help him log into his own fantasy football account?
I think we should have him get all the help he can get. I mean, give him everything he needs.
Wait, PJ once had to I had to follow him doing sales when I was working for him, and he had to show me how to one time eat soup. Remember that, PJ? He's like, move closer to the table and you'll spill less on the way to your left.
Life lesson, life hack.
So just for Andy and Casey, because you guys probably don't listen to the station all the time. So Dave Klemick, former Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver. Casey, his wide receivers coach was Charlie Joyner.
Hey,
Nice.
my son's the C in KC stands for Charles. So
there you go.
I was going to say that, that's pretty cool. It was Casey Joyner. And I think it's actually spelled the same.
His is His is I, ours is white. The name Joiner originally came from furniture joiners. So it was J-O-I, like you're actually joining furniture, and somehow, somewhere they came mixing and some of us got J-O-Y and some still have J-O-I. So I still consider us from the same, the same etymology bloodline as far as names goes.
Nice.
So I have 3 jerseys on my wall. My own, Charlie Joyner, and Dante Hall, and that's it.
Which jersey though? Who was Charlie playing for that one?
San Diego.
Okay. See,
yeah. It's his number 19 jersey, I believe, or 18.
18.
Yeah.
My son's name is Charles too, so we have a Charlie Joyner in the house too. So.
So while Dave continues to try to sign into his fantasy draft here, so the reason why he brings up Dante Hall, Casey, is because Dave beat Dante Hall and made himself the fastest man in the NFL in the early 2000s. So, because, for those of us who are old enough to remember, PJ, you probably fall in this category too. There used to be a literal competition at the Pro Bowl games, right? Bench press, races. I felt like there was a time that Darryl Green won the thing every year, didn't he?
Yeah, he did 6 straight. He's winning in his 30s. He's 32 years old and he's still the fastest man in the league. Are you out of your mind?
So I got a cool story about that. Back in the day, it wasn't called the NFL's fastest man until 2008. Prior to that, it was called the Pro Football's fastest man. And sometimes they wouldn't even do it. In 1997, they ran the NFL's fastest man. They couldn't get a place to do it and have they didn't want the TV cameras there and everything like that. So they did it in Emmitt Smith's backyard. They
Really?
And they did in Emmitt Smith's backyard. Yeah. And that's when Eddie Kennison, my teammate, won it in 97 in Emmitt Smith's backyard. How cool is that?
That's wild.
Well, the good news was while Dave was telling that story, Dave is in the draft with 2 minutes to go.
Let's go.
Has anybody seen the new t-shirts yet? The locker room t-shirts, because they're banging.
This is my YouTube channel, not Billy Schwamm's YouTube channel.
I'm just saying. They look good. They look good, and your pretty face is right on there.
Oh, I'm aware. You've sent me the graphic about 20 million times through all the iterations of the edits.
Oh my gosh.
Are the shirts there? Can we see it or no?
Yeah. Look.
Let's see. Let's hold it up. Let's hawk some merch.
I don't know how
Nice. It's a little far away, but I think I get the gist of it there. Here we go. Let's see.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there we go. Cool. That's awesome.
And then on the flip side,
There you go.
Let's go.
Boom.
all
right.
back over here.
You know what? It should be the league winner this year gets their face on the jersey, on the shirt if it's not on there already. How about that? That's the extra. That's the bonus edition.
The bonus. So I believe at some point, just to let you guys know, I believe Nick Earnshaw will join us at some point, jumping on here. And then I don't know about Danny Ryan. Danny Ryan said he might be out and about. I know Billy can barely talk because he's not feeling well. So he's all Z packed up from urgent care today. So so it might just be us talking. Two-time league winner Deshaun Hendricks, he probably can't make it because apparently he's chasing his 3 children around the house.
Apparently, sorry.
Clemens trying to make up for lost time. That's what he's doing.
You guys know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. The kid, can you say that? Yeah, the little kid.
Apparently, yeah.
Cracking up.
All right, so we got 30 seconds here. So Dave, in 30 seconds, you are on the clock.
All right. All I know is PJ has been known to mess with me like pretty bad, right? And he told me to pick Christian McCaffrey, and he said if that's available, that's a great pick.
If that's available,
You're the first.
you have the first pick in the draft. Of course, it's available, PJ.
Listen,
I mean, so like
Justin Tucker, I'm telling you, kicker. That's throw the whole draft out of whack. Let's get nuts.
my first ever fantasy draft was last year, and Josh did all my picks for me.
Oh, I had to help him with his picks. All right, Dave, you're on the clock.
All
So
right,
you know what you're doing over here.
I am going to. How much time do I have? 1 minute.
Well, you can draft as soon as you want.
All right, so I'm gonna click Christian McCaffrey, first pick in the Clemic draft.
Ooh, boy, here we go.
All right, so now Nick Earnshaw hasn't joined the stream yet, but I know he's in the chat group. So, all right, guys, pretty chalky right now with the McCaffrey #1 overall pick. Casey, your reaction?
Hey, like I said, I like all the number of guys at 1. I would take, if I was had 1, I'd take McCaffrey as well. But I'm taking Bijan Robinson at 3, and I'm perfectly thrilled with that pick.
Nice.
So
pick.
Nick Earnshaw took Tyreek Hill. Casey Jordan took Bijan Robinson, which means Mr. Negadelphia PJ Corda is on the clock.
Quick thing on Bijan, by the way. Raheem Morris says he's going to give Robinson the ball as many times as he can. I ain't too many people. Aren't too many running backs who can get 300+ touches anymore, maybe 350 if you include receptions. Yeah, 300 rushes, 50 receptions. He's one of the few who could do it. He may lead the league in touches this year.
With much better coaching, and yeah, that's a great pick.
Definitely much better coaching.
Yeah.
Good grief.
What
Last
a waste. Drake London, Kyle Pitts could be big year for them too. Finally getting some better
Yeah, I
coaching.
got kicked out. I had to rejoin, but I'm trying.
Well, you got 20 seconds, PJ.
Oh boy.
great. Okay.
Oh boy. Dun 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 dun.
I'll take
PJ's up. There he goes.
I got
So
Holland,
Brees
right?
Hall. Okay.
I
So
got him. Okay.
we got running back, wide receiver, running back. So still kind of a chalky draft here. Deshaun Hendricks is on the clock. My former co-host here at 97.3 ESPN. We'll see what he does. Now, the question is, how much is he paying attention? Because as I said, he's chasing around his 3 kids. All right. He took Saquon. Guys, your reactions to Saquon going at 5. Andy, you go first.
That's a bit high for my taste. I think Saquon could have a great year, but I'm still a bit skittish on that injury pass. I know that can be, each year is different, but I think there's going to be opportunity a bit rich for me at that position.
Casey?
The Eagles brought in Kellen Moore because they want to run the ball. I think I'm going to get back to what they were 2 years ago. They brought in Barkley for the same reason. Barkley, by the way, he can run any type of rushing scheme you want. You want to run outside zone, inside zone, wide zone, gaps, power counter, whatever you want to run, he can run it because the Giants used him in every manner like that. I think they're going to use him every manner like that in Philadelphia as well. Love the offensive line, obviously, there. I mean, I think they're going to get back to him. And just, the health thing is an issue, but he's another 300+ touch guy. And if you get that many carries, if you get that many touches in the season, I think you're worthy of. Like I said, I've got him 5th on my board, so I don't have a problem with that pick. If in our drafts, you can get him later than that. If you get him later than that, he's an absolute value.
So the last 2 picks, Jim McLean, our sales manager here at 97.3 ESPN, he took CeeDee Lamb of the Cowboys, who just got paid. Amon-Ra St. Brown went to Danny Ryan, one of our weekend producers here on 97.3 ESPN. And Billy Schwein, the most predictable move in the world, picked the Philadelphia Eagle, A.J. Brown. All right. The league manager now, myself, is on the clock. And I'm not a fan of some of these options, gotta be honest. I mean, Jamar Chase is walking around practice. Justin Jefferson's got Sam Darnold throwing to him. Jonathan Taylor, I don't know if he's going to be healthy. Puka Nacua, I guess I could go there. Garrett. I mean, here's my theory. I need to get someone who's going to give me points because this is a PPR league. So I need someone who's going to get a volume of targets. Good Lord. All right. I'm going Garrett Wilson here. What do you guys think?
Oh, I was thinking that myself, my friend. I'm
Andy,
at the
you're
turn
the
now.
defending league champion. You are on the clock.
Okay. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. This is. I hate being at the bottom here, but we're gonna make it work. So you know what? I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, okay, I got 2 picks in a row. Let's go. What? Okay, let's go. Jamar Chase right now. I know that he's going to get his volume. There's a bit of injury. It makes me a bit nervous. We're going to go Chase. Then I'm going to swing back. And I'm looking. Is it Jonathan Taylor? There's the touches, but you're right. There's the health part. Jahmyr Gibbs, I like, but Pacheco's right there. I'm going to have to say Jonathan Taylor. I think it's just, I'm going to take the risk on both those guys. Going back to back, Taylor and Chase.
Casey, your reaction to those back-to-back picks there by Andy.
Boy.
Not too worried about Chase. I think they'll get that figured out. And I'm worried about Burrow because Burrow gets hurt all the time. I did an analysis from my draft guide and things. It's just amazing the number of injuries he's had. I do worry about him staying healthy all year. Taylor, though, great offense. And again, he's one of those guys. If you can get 300 carries, I mean, there may only be 5 of them in this year. And if you can get any of them, and he's one who can do it, he's done it for so many years. Yeah, I like that pick. JT's good.
Okay, I feel better now. Thanks, Casey. I feel good now. Okay. Whew.
All right. I got to go running back here because I'm not going to be picking again for a while. So let me see here. See, my concern is that I just don't trust the Rams to use Kyron Williams enough. So I'm going to go Jahmyr Gibbs here.
Yeah. I was thinking Gibbs between Gibbs and Taylor, but yeah, I like Gibbs.
See, my question is with Pacheco, like, is he in that offense? How many touches is he really going to get? You know what I mean? Like that's always the concern with a guy like that.
With Gibbs, they say they're going to use him as like a flanker and touch. They're going to give him like Thurman Thomas role and get him outside like that. They're going to, he'll get more passes than that. So he may be one of those 325 touch guys, but get more of them through the passing game because they got Montgomery. They don't have to have him run the ball 300 times.
All right. So Billy Schwein, the host of the locker room, he's back on the clock. Now the question is, do they take another Eagle or not? Does he keep scrolling and find an Eagle, or does he actually pick over somebody else here? Not saying AJ Brown was a bad pick, but I mean, it's very on brand for Billy Schwein. Oh, he went with the South Jersey Ronnie Pacheco.
Okay. Hey, and we saw how Andy Reid and that Kansas City offense was able to adjust and make it a more balanced offense, and Pacheco rose to the occasion. So interesting pick.
All right, so now we got Danny Ryan, one of the weekend producers here at 97.3 ESPN. He's on the clock. If I scroll back up, Danny took Amon-Ra St. Brown earlier. So we'll see if he goes wide receiver or running back here.
Who's going to take Justin Jefferson with Sam Darnold or Nick Mullins tossing him the ball?
Danny Ryan, he just took him.
Oh, there we go.
You predicted it. You spoke into existence.
There we go. I feel so bad for Justin Jefferson, guys. Like, what? All things being equal, that's the best wide receiver talent-wise, I think, in the NFL. And he's got those 2. Oh.
What I don't understand is that, like, there's so many conflicted reports coming out of the Vikings. It's like some people are saying Darnold really knows the offense. Other people are saying, man, he looked like crap in the joint practices. It's just like, you know, what do you do when a guy is supposed to, like, I mean, Casey, you've seen this before. Like, a guy may know the offense, but he might not be able to execute it.
The thing I look at in Jefferson's case is that if you look at his production when he has had subpar quarterbacks in the past, He's done just fine. He's done very well. So I think he'll still be able to do well with even with the backup quarterback. I don't think he's going to be at the level he was before, but I don't think the drop is quite as significant as was initially thought.
So, guys, our first quarterback just went off the board in a very Deshaun Hendricks move. He went with his favorite quarterback in the league, Lamar Jackson, in the second round. So there's our first real surprise of the draft. Quarterback in the second round. A bit of an overdraft, right, boys?
Little bit. Lamar's good at fantasy. Nothing in the playoffs, but fantasy-wise, sure.
Right. Yeah, he gets the AFC Championship game, and yeah. So Casey, just to let you know, Andy McNamara, even though he's Canadian, he's a Browns fan.
Picking right now, so sorry, pick at the moment. Okay, I'm just had to look up one thing. Gonna go with Puka Nacua. So got him ranked 17th on the board. So that's good value at that point. Yeah, quarterback this early. I just did an article for The Athletic about Jackson. I think he's going to lose 30 points off of last year's production just because they're going to be running different type of scheme and things. And the thing that really concerns me about Baltimore, their offensive line coach, Joe D'Alessandris, one of the best run blocking offensive line coach in the league. I guess he lost his wife last year. He got sick this year, and he died like a couple of weeks ago. So they got a new offensive line coach. I think they're going to go to a lot of – Derrick Henry runs a lot of outside zone. It's an easier thing to teach. You don't have to do the quite as, it's an easier thing to execute and such, or it's a simpler set of rules. So I think they run Henry a ton on outside zone. They don't use quite as much of the inside zone stuff, zone read handoffs they did to Henry with Jackson. And I think he's going to lose 30 points. If he does, I think he's a 5th round pick in a 12-team league.
Yeah, that's going to be tough because, I mean, that offense is already lacking a lot of. I mean, I don't understand how the Ravens don't get more weapons out there. I just never understood that. It's like they drafted was it Bateman a couple of years ago, and then it's like it's Bateman, it's Andrews, it's Isaiah Likely,
Zay Flowers there. He's been okay.
All right, so I'm on the clock, right? Is this stupid to pick a Marvin Harrison Jr. because he's never played in the NFL before? So
I don't think it's stupid. I wouldn't go that far.
Does anybody agree with that pick?
Kyler Murray ranks dead last in vertical points per game in each of the past 2 years. Worried about that.
Okay. That's something to worry about.
Yeah,
that's all you have to worry about
now too. And he's getting injured.
Mike Evans has never had a season less than 1,000 yards.
He was like in the top 10 in vertical yards last year to Mike Evans.
Mike Evans here.
Mike Evans is a stud.
He's never had less than 1,000.
Yeah.
All right, so Dave, you have a running back and a receiver, so you can kind of go wherever you want here with the next pick, as you got back-to-back picks here.
I'm going to go Travis Kelce if he's still around.
Well, you got to go find the tight ends. That's what you got to do.
He is.
Where's the tight ends? They're way down. All right, I'm going to
see the problem with
Travis Kelce. Just he just bought a horse named Swift Delivery, and it raced at Woodbine. I'm in Toronto on Saturday, and the horse came in second. Just did
it really?
It came in second, yeah. But he bought a horse. The NBC sent crews up in case Travis showed up. I'm like, he's not showing up. The season's starting this week. He's not coming. But NBC sent a crew up. So I don't know.
Oh my goodness.
Kelce, baby.
All right, so we got the first tight end off the board. Casey, is Travis Kelce still the number 1 tight end, or is somebody else?
Well, no, I've got Sam Laporta rated 1. I think by a small amount, but I think Laporta, for a variety of reasons, is going to be a better pick. Again, I'm not knocking the pick. I've got Laporta rated just slightly better. I mean, he broke Mike Ditka's rookie record last year. He was He was 6th in short and stretch vertical PPR points per game, 3rd of PPR vertical points per game. Ben Johnson's come back. They've got a fantastic offensive line. He's got one of the most favorable. He's got 82 matchup points out of 100. There's just a lot of reasons to like him. In fact, that's why I'm about to pick him right now.
Casey talked about him so much. He's like, I'm going to pick him right now.
Go get him.
What I'm surprised is these tight ends can stay that healthy. Like Travis Kelce stayed very fairly healthy for all the hits that he takes and crossing routes he's done and inside, slants and stuff like that. And he's healthy, but he's usually catching the ball off off a scramble, and then they're looking for him. So
I worry about the fact they added all that vertical production. They added Brown, they added Worthy, and all that, and so they've got guys who can. Brown's not going to play this week, but they've got guys who can stretch the defense. I don't know if that, even if it marginally takes away some of his points, that's why I'm a little bit concerned. Like, okay, if they, like he reaches peak, he's still going to be right up there. He's one of, I got two blue rated. I call them blue rated players, elite players. He and Laporte are the only blue rated tight ends on the board. Everybody else is green rated or lower. So he's still right up there. I just think Laporte is in a better offensive situation where I think the funnel thing's a little more to him. Whereas Kelsey, like I said, now they've got the vertical threats, so he may be more of a dink and dunk guy.
This is more anecdotal to me, but I have always thought that when we had great vertical threat, your tight ends play much, much better. They just give the safeties, give you a little bit more space under to run those, dig routes at like 20 yards, 15 to 20. And then they're just wide open all the time. You look at every time that you have Deshaun Jackson on the field, because he's such a threat deep, all his tight ends just are like, they're always wide open just because they're scared of people. They're just scared of being beat deep. It's putting the fear of God in a safety.
Yeah.
They're gonna at least hesitate.
Yeah, it's a tough measurement because you've got the safeties kit. Because you're going to loosen up the coverage to make it better. But does he lose some of those? He gets more production, but does he get fewer targets? And like I said, marginal fear was a tough call. I mean, they were like real close on my board. Like it was really. I mean, actually, let's put it this way. The overall upside grades, they both rated 100. It was the downside grade that Laporte rated better than Kelsey. And it was partially because of slightly better matchup points and that Kelsey being his age, too. It was about the only thing that separated him. So it's like a marginal thing. But, Kelsey is one. I don't have any problem with that.
Well, I want to thank everyone for letting my favorite running back drop to me in the draft. I love Josh Jacobs this year for the Packers. Love what he can do, especially considering he's going to get more touches this year than we previously thought. He's got a depleted backfield up there in Green Bay.
Yeah, there's nobody left. Yeah, all the injuries. At A.J. Dillon, one of the teams. I do have a worry about him. Just one slight worry is that he tallied a 10-plus yard rush and only 3.9% of his rushes last year. It was a stat from a draft guide. That's like last in the league. So he'll do better. I think he's better than that. But it's like, whoa, I don't like to see that kind of a drop-off from a back on things. But I think that offense will give him more opportunities. But it's like, man, you can't, if you're only getting a 10-yard rush on 3.9% of your carries, LaFleur will look for other backs to give it to if that happens. But I don't think it will. It's just that's the concern with drafting Jacobs.
So my theory is that, this is the only year Josh Jacobs has guaranteed money on that contract. The rest of the contract, it's almost no guaranteed money. So this could be like a DeMarco Murray's final year in Dallas kind of situation where it's like, we're going to run him into the ground and then we'll see what happens after that kind of thing.
And he's the only back, by the way, over the past 5 years to have 260 or more scrimmage plays in each of the past 5 seasons. So, I mean, he as far as, hey, can he be a bell cow type? Oh yeah, he's done it repeatedly. I mean, the only back to do that, which is kind of surprising.
Can I just say, savvy move by Andy to go Rashad White there at running back?
I wanted to get, because I'm at the turn, right? And I have so long to pick before. I'm like, do I wait on a running back? And I'm like, I liked White, and I think there is a bit of a drop off after that. So I thought have him and DK Metcalf, and I think just because Seattle has become kind of boring last couple of years, that people are forgetting about DK Metcalf. Like the guy is a freak. Like he still went for over 1,100 yards last year. So I think DK is a good pickup there.
I'm not picking again for a while, but I went to Devonta Smith here. I'm kind of going the targets concept. I was kind of debating between him and Nico Collins because no offense to Stephon Diggs, but there's a part of me that wonders, in case you would know this better than I would. I feel like CJ Stroud last year had a pretty even distribution between guys. He wasn't a guy who constantly fed the same guy every week.
No, he didn't, and he didn't feed the same guy every week. And the thing is for the first few weeks of the season, they didn't cut him loose in vertical passes. And then after that, if you look at the percentage of vertical passes, percentage of his throws of vertical passes, it just skyrocketed. And the thing is, he's got enough receivers, so he doesn't have to funnel to one person. I worry about Stephon Diggs in that offense because he was in weeks 10 to 18 last year. He was, I'm trying to make sure I get this right, tied for 57th in vertical PPR points per game. I don't know if he was just trying to play his way out of Buffalo. Maybe he was just doing the same thing he did in Minnesota and things, or if it's a drop off. And it's like, if it's anything of a drop off, Houston will just go fine. Stroud can get big production from anybody. He got Tank Dell, he's got Collins, he's got other like he can go wherever he wants. So big on Step, definitely big on Stroud this year. He's I think an undervalued guy.
And for those who are watching on our stream at Josh Hennig on YouTube, you can follow everybody on Twitter. All of our Twitter handles are on the screen in front of us, except for Casey's. I'll have to add Casey. I'll add yours in a minute. But it's the idea that this league, what makes us different is that I personally added, when I founded this league back in 2018, the running back wide receiver slot, because I feel like every year there's some poor sap who gets stuck with either too many running backs or too many wide receivers because of the way these drafts play out. So in a way to create a little more parity without having like a 14-man league, which I absolutely hate, by the way. I hate those things. You have an extra slot for people to play with. So now people can get a little more creative with their lineups. And that's why I usually do that. Of course, you still have the flex in there. But again, the idea being that the extra running back wide receiver, because I've seen this happen to me. I remember the one year I won the first year I ever won a fantasy football league. I had Drew Brees. It was one of the like 5,000 passing yard seasons back in 2010 or whatever. That's PJ's timer going off over there.
Sorry.
Listen, mine's louder than yours, so I mean I can't complain too much. But it's I remember that year though, I felt like I had like a million running backs because that was the year I had Adrian Peterson. He had that monster year, and I had somebody else too. And I just remember I was like, my gosh, like, can you imagine how many more points I would have scored if I could have put all of these guys in the lineup at the same time? And then you're in the situation, and Andy, you know how this works. It's like your flex almost turns into like, well, I have to play this guy because I can't set like a Thomas Jones on the bench back in the day.
Yeah, exactly. It becomes a spot where it's a case where you can outthink yourself a little bit, that flex spot at times, right? And that's why, I like having that RBWR plus the flex in there in this league.
Casey, Patrick Mahomes, 4th round draft pick. Thumbs up or thumbs down?
I'm good with Patrick at that point. He's in 3 or 4. My draft guide ranks players going to just a 12-team league, just as like a general thing. But I have him as a 3rd or 4th round pick in there. So this is solid, maybe a bit early, but again, you're locked in production. I am very surprised that Josh Allen is still on the board, 3rd quarterback. If there's other quarterbacks out the board, he's still there. It's kind of surprising. Was not expecting him to fall until right now, and then he goes.
Not anymore because Clement just took him.
Well, my pick was, here's how good of a fantasy player it was. I'm looking down there. I'm going, Rashee Rice. Isn't he in jail right now?
Not yet.
I should not pick Rashee Rice. He's in jail.
Not recommended.
But I was going to pick Patrick Mahomes. I'm looking for red, and I see Rashee Rice. I almost clicked it just because I thought it was Mahomes.
You're on the clock again,
yeah,
too.
Okay, I'm on again. So I can't pick.
You probably should get some running backs over there, dude.
I can't. I got one running back. Yeah, you think I need?
I got one running back. He says.
I need more running backs.
You gotta fill those slots, man.
Well, you know what?
Let's.
You know who I love at running back? I can't for some reason.
You're running out of time.
6 seconds.
5. Gotta pick somebody. You went Drake London.
I love Drake London at that spot. That's
so. I probably know less about him. Actually, wanted to look for an ex-Atlanta Falcon who plays running back and receiver. I couldn't think of his name off the top of my head for some reason. Who am I thinking of?
Cordell Patterson.
Cordell Patterson.
Oh, yeah. He's Pittsburgh now, right?
He's a Steeler. Yeah.
I thought he would be a great pick right there, but I didn't see his name even close.
The problem with fantasy football is that a lot of these scoring systems don't really factor in special teams.
Right, and with the kickoff rule, depending if that change, if that does anything, the preseason was pretty bland of it. But if it spices it up, that could make an impact to kind of those borderline guys, that 3rd running back who could maybe give you points there if your league allows it.
Guys, Jalen Hurts, 5th round pick to Nick Earnshaw. Reaction.
Tremendous. I love Jalen.
Yeah, proper value at that point. When I wrote that article about Lamar Jackson losing 30 points, the other half of the article is on Hurts. I think he's going to lose some points too. Not as many, but I think he's going to lose about 30 points. But the thing is, if you take them where they were based on last year, Hurts, this is I'm totally fine with Hurts at this level because even if he does have the lost production, both from that and because Do you get 15 touchdowns again? Maybe. It's a good chance, but that's the tied for the most in league history by a quarterback. So maybe there's a drop off there. But even if you factor all those things in based on what he did last year, he's still a 330 point guy. And get him in round 5. I really like that pick.
I'm going to totally use the fact that Andy and Casey are here because we have people watching us on my YouTube channel at Josh Hennig asking questions about fantasy. Rob chimes in and says, I got Mahomes and Kelsey. I also have Terry McLaurin. Would you trade McLaurin for Rice to have a triple stack?
I don't like tripling down on one team. One, it gives you trouble during bye weeks. Two, Rice is a wild card, like hella talented. I think McLaurin's going to have a nice year with Jaden Daniels. I think finally he might, the rookie thing, there's going to be inconsistencies, but I like McLaurin this year.
I agree on McLaurin. If you look at his floor, look at where he is floor wise. Yeah, he's really, really consistent, and that's before getting this caliber quarterback. So I would play for the floor on that one and keep him there.
Oh, damn, Stroud went. Blast.
I know this is probably going to be a reach, but here I go.
Oh boy. There we go.
I really think Rodgers is going to have a massive year. I really do. I think he's got, I interviewed Ian O'Connor on my show a couple of weeks ago. He wrote the new Aaron Rodgers book, and I've been reading it. Aaron Rodgers really has that like Kobe side where he's like this like revengeful individual who like he is so driven psychotically and he's so intelligent that it's just like I think he might be an MVP candidate this year. I know I'm going out on a limb. Casey, your reaction?
He's 18th on my board. I like a lot of things about him, but it's a run-centric coach, and I think it's going to be a run coach and let's run and play defense and all that. And he's older. And what was it? I can give you a stat here in just a second because he's got Aaron Rodgers.
He's got that one bum leg.
Yeah, that's the thing. Give me just a second.
He doesn't need the run, PJ. He needs.
I'm just saying, it's his plant foot.
This is his age 41 season. There are only 2 quarterbacks in NFL history who have thrown 500 or more passes in an age 41 campaign. One's Tom Brady, did it 5 times. The other's Warren Moon, who did it once in 97. Not saying Rodgers can't do it, but he's got injuries of late. His production in Green Bay in his last year was not what it had been before. I'm not sure that he is still at that level. Combine those factors with, again, we're a run-centric team. It's not the most favorable schedule. I like his receiving core. I don't love his receiving core. It's a defense-centric team as well. I mean, they just look at it and go, okay, I think he's going to be a good quarterback. I'd much rather have him as a 2 backing up a low-end 1 than I would as my full-time starters, honestly, where I'd go with that.
Well, I'm willing to be wrong. I'm willing to be wrong.
And I might be wrong, too. Hey, that's just, that's just my take.
I'm just a big believer, guys. And sometimes you got to go with the intangibles, and, by the way, Warren Moon couldn't run either at that age. So
yeah.
That was with what, the Vikings, Casey?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
That was the Vikings. Yeah. Chris Carter. Was Jake Reed on the team at the time?
Probably. Yeah.
Clemix over here just shaking his head. Like,
well, and I'm.
And Rodgers is one of those guys who he could be in that. I mean, obviously it's a rare thing to do. He's got that, it's not like he can't do it. I mean, he's an otherworldly talent. It's just one of those things where, and plus there's so much depth at quarterback too, though. I mean, it's an incredible amount of depth this year.
Since we have all you brains on here, what do you guys actually think about the new kickoff return rule? I'm friends with Dante Hall, and he just did a commercial. Like they did those Dudes Wipes commercial with all the greats. It was Devin Hester, him, and Joshua Cribbs. They did that little thing where they all talked about it, and they love it. They want to see the return game back. And I don't know what you guys think about it. It looks kind of lame, looks weird, like CFL or whatever. But at least they're returning the ball.
I'd like to see him return it. I mean, they need to kick off the touchback out to the 35. It's sitting at the 30 right now. I think teams are just going to keep kicking out to 30 because right now, I guess in the preseason, the returns are going out to like the 20-yard line on average. So it's 2 yards. Why risk it? Just go and kick it to the end zone. I think NFL's going to have to kick it. They won't do it this year. They'll have to do it next year, but I think they'll find this is not going to drive as many kickouts. I hope it does, but I think they're going to find it doesn't, and they're going to have to do something to say, hey, if you kick touchback, it's got to go 35.
Same with the extra points, right? They're still at like 94%.
Right.
And that was 99% to 94%. It's
Yeah,
still like a gimme. They got to move it back.
An extra point, at least it made some kind of difference. I'm thinking this year it just might not make a difference at all. I'm just go, hey, we're just going to go and kick it to the end zone, just like we've been doing. You're not, giving enough. That would be, if they get some sort of improvement, then they might go from there. But I just think they're not going to do that. So
Casey's on the clock. So Andy, I'll ask you, Dak Prescott, PJ took him. Your thoughts in the 6th round here?
I think Dak is so consistent fantasy wise. Think about what you want in real life. And this is a big year for him. I think him and CD Lamb kind of combo, like stack wise, whether it's for DFS or if you get him in whatever league, is going to be really good. Like Dak is going to be a rock solid. You set, you forget, and he's going to be just fine. So I think at this point in the draft, getting Dak, that's a really nice pickup.
So while Clemic is still on the clock here, let's get another question in from the YouTube channel. I'm not even going to try to say whatever the heck that's supposed to stand for, but SJMP apparently says his lineup is Purdy, Breece Hall, Travis Etienne, Rashad. Wait, a lot of running backs there.
Wow.
Devontae Hall, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle. Who the heck is drafting in this league? I mean, he stole like half the league, it looks like. Jake Moody, the kicker, the Ravens D says, do I start McLaurin or Keon Coleman over either of my wide receivers? Also, Jane Daniels over Purdy, question mark. Who wants to tackle this thing first?
I do. Go ahead.
Ayuk spooks me simply because he missed so much time. So I'm higher on Deebo Samuel compared to Ayuk, just in as a general note. Keon Coleman, my friends who are Buffalo Bills fans they are not excited. They are not excited. They said this guy's got bricks for hands. So who are the receivers? Devontae Adams, Ayuk, yeah, McLaurin. You know what? I like keeping McLaurin. Wait to see how him and Daniels connection is right now. Maybe not week 1. Feel it out a little bit. Maybe this chemistry grows. Maybe it doesn't. But that's a nice bench.
Casey?
Yeah, I'm sticking with the wide receivers. This is McLaurin's a nice backup to those two. I'd go with them. I'd go Purdy at first just to see what Daniels does. Does it take him? He's a rookie. It'll take him a few games to get in. They have a terrible offensive line, so let's see what he does. I would at the start of the year, I'd go Purdy, but I'll be looking for Daniels for spot starts, and I bet that's what it's going to be. You're going to find spot starts for Daniels over Purdy, but most of the time, you're probably going to go Purdy if you want the consistent production.
So we're getting to the part of the draft where people are having to pick running backs who are left over. Clemic took Ramondre Stevenson. Nick Earnshaw took James Conner. And then Brock Purdy just went. That's a great pick by Casey Joyner right there.
Yeah, he's incredibly consistent. The consistency, I mean, it's I'm going to pull up a stat here from my draft guide real quick. He's to get the type of consistency that you get out of Purdy, it's very hard to find because last year he had the 3rd highest pass points per game total, had more vertical passing points than any other quarterback, was 6th in stretch vertical points per game. They return all 11 starters, great offensive line, fantastic coaching, and think he can actually rush more because he rushed for 1,200 yards and 19 scores in college. He's not doing anything at that level in the NFL. I think he can get a little more there. And if he could even just add a half a point or a point, it's one of those things that drives him even higher up the quarterback charts. That's why I've got him 7th on the chart. He's pushing close to top 5 status. By the way, Jordan Love went a little bit earlier. I've got him as one of the 5 blue-rated quarterbacks this year. Rare to see him. He threw for 20 red zone touchdowns last year. One of only, I think it was 3 quarterbacks to do that, and they've got the deepest receiving core in the league. Love is a great pick at that spot.
I also want to say, Andy, I love PJ taking Evan Ingram here. I think Ingram, he's in a position where if the Jags have a good season, he's probably going to be a part of that.
Yeah, he kind of a resurgence, and it's funny. You leave New York, so maybe that's another a good sign for Saquon Barkley. Now he's, now he's a contributor. Now he's doing something. You lose Calvin Ridley as well in Jacksonville. You add Brian Thomas Jr. as a rookie, so at least the first part of the season, Evan Ingram could have a big part, and then we'll see how Thomas develops. So yeah, nice pickup.
Nice.
All right, so we got George Pickens. He just went to Jim McLean. By the way, Jim is our sales manager here at Town Square Media, parent company of 97.3 ESPN. So Jim came in 2nd place last year to Andy. So it was Andy versus Jim in the finals last year in the playoffs. So Jim is attempting to try to rebuild for another run at it here. George Pickens, that's interesting. So we got Danny Ryan on the clock now. We're only going to stay on the live stream for about maybe 12 minutes, and we'll wrap it up, and everybody can just go and finish off the draft. But I appreciate Andy McNamara, Casey Joyner, Mr. Negadelphia, PJ joining in with us. Like I said, we'll be live for like 10, 12 minutes. If anybody else has any more questions on the YouTube channel, you guys can jump in. I'm just glad to see that we're all kind of moving this draft along, and it's not just like we're not just sitting around, waiting for somebody till they're 5 seconds every time,
Gotta like that Richardson pick. Danny Ryan took Anthony Richardson. Gotta like that pick a lot.
Nice. If he can stay healthy, guy's an absolute stud. The question is, he got injured twice.
Yeah.
In the rookie year, does that play it? That's the unknown. But I think talent-wise, there's a lot to unlock.
8.9.
I was gonna say Billy Schwein just took Dallas Goedert, so I waited too long to get Goddard. So now I gotta find a tight end here.
Richardson, 8.9 rush points per game last year. Had he done that over a course of a whole season, leads the league. And at that point, you only need like 9 points per game passing to get a 300-point season. So it really sets the bar low for what you need out of the passing game. And they've got some pretty good talent there. He'll have to compete with Taylor and things this year. I get that. But, I mean, even if he drops down to 7 or 8 per game, it's still he's at that Hurts and Jackson territory as far as what he can put rushing wise.
Andy, you went Pitts over Njoku.
I did. I think with that offense, we talked about it, right? With the possibilities there, I think Pitts could finally explode. I'll go in a second after I make my other pick of why I think that. And actually, there's a comparison with Pitts and Njoku. Let me just do a little thinking here. Oh, thinking, brother. Let's see.
So I went with Kincaid because I just feel like Josh Allen has nobody to throw to in Buffalo. That receiving core is such trash. I mean, Matt Collins is on the roster, for goodness sake. I mean, come on. I got my Browns player. Dalton Kincaid's got to go. Who did Andy? Andy picked Amari Cooper. Okay.
I got Coop. Last year, it's essentially a contract year for him because they restructured his deal. He was rumored and going into that being a part of the possible Brandon Ayuk trade. So behind the scenes, the word is that both sides on Cooper and the Browns like, look, we're not going to be able to redo a contract in year 30. They paid Jerry Jeudy. You got Tillman going. Browns are first round picks again. So this is Amari Cooper's chance again to really sort of play up for another contract. So, and he's been outside of being injured the last couple of years at the end of the season. He's been rock solid.
So I went Najee Harris. Casey, I want your thought on this. Arthur Smith, offensive coordinator. I'm figuring that this is going to be a situation where they're going to run him into the ground.
Run the damn ball. Arthur Smith. Hey, he knows what he wants in the ground game. He absolutely will have them running a ton. They made multiple offensive line investments too. They've got upgrades there, so it's not like he's going to be running behind a bad offensive line. Last year they ran a platoon, but Harris still got 284 scrimmage plays. It's only 29 plays short of his 2022 total. So yeah, they moved a little bit of work away from him, but I think they're going to be in the same way too. He's still going to be the lead back there, or if it's a platoon, he's still going to be a very heavily used platoon. He scored 4 rush touchdowns on 7 goal line rushes last year versus 0 touchdowns on 4 rushes by Warren in that area. So I think he stays the goal line back. They've got a really good favorable schedule early on. So yeah, I'm liking Harris's upside here.
Jeez, Danny Ryan went deep here. He went Zeus and the 8th round, Zamir White. It feels like it's a little high there, boys.
Boy, I think that it is a little high. If I can swing back to the Kyle Pitts comment for a second, Josh, if you don't mind. So I'm comparing personally Kyle Pitts to David Njoku in the development. I think this is going to be a breakout year for Pitts because both guys entered the league at 20. Njoku's been in the league. He's still just like 27 years old, been in there 7 years. But he had bad quarterback play and in and out. But all the athleticism, he was a state high jumping record setter. Kyle Pitts, we've been talking about all the potential. Maybe now with decent quarterback play, he can unlock that. So that's why I like Kyle Pitts there for his potential upside. In a similar vibe as we've been getting for Njoku.
Njoku was a high jump champ.
He was in high school. He set like whatever. I forget what state he's from, but he set a high school record for high jump.
My brother holds the state record in New Jersey in the high jump.
Really?
74 and a half.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right.
I was state champion at 6'8". So I'm looking it up right now.
I would always hit the bar.
You want to go get some training in.
Yeah.
I would always jump right into the bar in high school and knock it off. So and it sprungboarded me back. Yeah.
By the way, anybody out there have DirecTV?
No, not up in Canada. Different networks.
I'm only bringing it up because apparently they just released a statement. Apparently, DirecTV has chosen to remove all ESPN channels from their platform until they negotiate a new deal with ESPN.
Oh wow.
So if you're a DirecTV user, you're gonna miss Monday Night Football. It looks like you're gonna miss all the ESPN stuff for college football, the U.S. Open. So
Wow.
Yeesh. That's rough.
No bueno right there.
No. Gross.
Although I think most of us are pretty much either streaming our channels or now or like it's surprising that like a dish is still a thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Switched away from I had DirecTV until last year. Switched away to Google TV or YouTube TV, I should say. Never looking back. Best decision ever made from that. To watch Sunday Ticket on YouTube is just so much easier. You can pick now you can actually, by the way, you can actually pick your channels too. Evidently last year they set up you can get these 4 and all that. You can actually pretty well customize it almost the way you want to, so you can see the games you want or whatever TVs you want.
I had the quad box going yesterday with the college football. You know, I just had that up
nice.
there. That was fun. That was the value of the YouTube TV to me.
That's the way to do it. I got 4 TVs and I still watch like multiple on some of the TVs when there's a bunch of games and things. So yeah, it's a good way to go.
You know what's interesting in Canada? I feel so bad for you guys with how the whole NFL stuff. It's all over the place. Ours is still owned just by Bell, the rights. So it's all just either you get our version of the Sunday Ticket or you just watch the games on one network. So it's not as much of a headache as you guys got down there having so many different angles.
Oh man.
So it's pretty sweet for now. I'm sure it'll get there. Someone will screw us over, I'm sure, but you know, until then. Until that time.
Clemic took the risk on Keon Coleman.
Ooh, Mr. Bricks. Build some houses with those brick hands.
Deontay Johnson's going to be interesting because like that is purely a do you have faith that Bryce Young is going to play well kind of situation.
Yeah, and Johnson's a slot guy, right? So you get the ball out quick. So there is that is good. That's just so dicey though. Oh, Zeke's gone. Woo!
Yeah, Clemic went Zeke. The problem with Zeke though, Dave, is that you know how many touches is he going to get over there? I mean, Dallas is like Dallas has 3 running backs right now. It's what Zeke, Deuce Vaughn, and they have
Dowdle. Is it Dowdle?
Rico Dowdle. Yep, that's a value guy.
And then Dalvin Cook's on the practice squad. You know, he can keep doing those workout videos. Clement, can I ask you this, Dave? For those of us who didn't play professional sports, okay, we look at some of these workout videos, Dave, and we're like, all right, dude, you're doing plyo lunges and throwing a ball against the wall, like without your shirt on. Like, of course, you're a professional athlete. You're probably going to look good doing that. Like, as a guy who played, like, do you put any value into the dude who puts workout videos online?
Your workouts are supposed to be like not like seen. Everybody talks about when you're working out. It's like what you do what you're doing when nobody's looking. So when you start putting your videos out there because people are looking, you're doing it for the wrong reasons. You're not building any like character while you're building your muscles. You know what I mean? You're like supposed to do that behind closed doors. It's stupid. No.
So Dave Clemic says no to the workout warrior.
Whack. No, you can work out. Just don't put it on video all the time.
I like that Christian Kirk pick there. I think Kirk is gonna. I think that's a sneaky. You know, put him in as the third wide receiver on your fantasy team. That could be a nice steady plug and play.
Thank you. Got him 48th on my PPR board. So I was surprised he was still there at this point.
Yeah, that's really good, Casey. I like that. I had him thinking. I've tried the last like couple years to get Christian Kirk. I like him a lot.
Workout videos are for my ex-girlfriends.
Oh my gosh. I was actually at the gym earlier. I saw a girl, she was like filming herself while she was working out. I was just like, all right, I'm gonna like walk way around this. Like, I'm not
PJ, have you seen any Allison's videos? It's unbelievable.
Dude, she doesn't look right anymore, dude. I don't know what you did to that girl.
I'm telling you, I'm saying that for real. Like, it's just like every one of my ex-girlfriends turns to this Instagram model where all they do is like workout videos.
Dude, she got like 40 tattoos and works out all day.
It's terrible.
I will note Clemic is married. He's happily married.
You're
So
happily married.
It's not. This is not a. This is not a Clemic pining over his ex's situation. Just want to put that disclaimer out there so no one misunderstands.
Just in case Erica's watching this. I love you, babe.
Jaden Daniels. So I will say this, my boy Deshaun, I told him about Jaden Daniels as a freshman at Arizona State, and he's been following him ever since. Do we like Jaden Daniels' potential?
Oh,
I
yeah.
put some money on him to win offensive rookie of the year over Caleb Williams. I like him for fantasy. Never know with rookies, but I like Jaden Daniels personally.
Casey?
Yeah, got a 12th on my board, on my quarterback board. Again, he's the only FBS player to ever pass for 12,000 yards or rush for 3,000 yards in a career. He only played 2 seasons at LSU. He's still he's one of the 18 players to rush for 2,000 yards for that program. That's a pretty darn good program. I mean, he set the SEC record for total offense in the game and did so versus an SEC caliber foe, although Florida's playing pretty bad of late. He rushed for 200 yards and passed for 350 yards in that game. Kingsbury's system is a perfect fit for him. He's got McLaurin there. They've got a really favorable early schedule as far as whether or not they're going to get high scoring games. There's a ton of things to like. And again, if he puts up 7 points per game on the ground, you don't have to do that much to get to a number 12 quarterback ranking. So I really like his upside there.
Can we give Billy Schweim some credit? He just took Joe Burrow in the 9th round. Like that's amazing value.
I love my pick right here, guys. I have to say, I freaking love Ladd McConkey in that wasteland of weapons with the Chargers. I think I think there's a ton of potential as a rookie for that guy.
Casey?
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, I mean, he's. You wish he'd go to. You wish he was in the pass offense. I mean, that there's no doubt about that. But having noted that, he's still. I mean, you look at him. He's like his NFL draft profile. He reads like Wes Welker, Julian Edelman, great route runner, exceptional quickness, wicked smart. He was a finalist for the academic Heisman. He's magna cum laude. They say he's a really smart guy. He's going to pick up on that offense quick. He's the type of grinder Harbaugh will throw to. I mean, I think he gets And by the way, he can run the ball too. 216 rushing yards on 13 carries in college. He's going to get some jet sweeps. He ranked 7th in the SEC in receptions of 20-plus yards last year. Lots of rack upside. You just keep looking at these things and going, okay, high floor guy. I don't know about the ceiling because he's not going to get 150 targets on an offense, but definitely a high floor guy. So, yeah, I like the pick.
What about Austin Eckler? Billy Schweim just took him in the 10th round here. Eckler's interesting to me, guys, because of the fact that, there was a time that you would consider him potentially one of the best PPR running backs.
Yep.
But now he's coming off of an injury and he's in a new offense. And I don't know what that really means. I mean, he's going to be splitting time with Brian Robinson.
Yeah. I mean, he's still pass catching back, 3rd highest yards per reception among running backs at 50-plus receptions last year, tied for 21st in PPR points per game. Kingsbury likes a pass-heavy offense, so he could get a big pass total there. So he's the lightning back in the offense now. He used to be the guy who could do both. Eckler's been talking about the past couple years, like, hey, I don't want to be used as much in the ground game and all that. And I think Kingsbury's going to say, fine, we don't have to use you in the ground game. We'll throw you a ton of targets And they've got he could be one of the top pass catchers in an offense. And again, if he does that and gets even just 120 rushes, let's say, and he just is the alternate back on the ground, I think he'd get 200 touches. If you get that at this level of the draft, that's good.
So we're getting to the point of the draft where we're going to be wrapping up this stream soon. I'm not gonna keep everybody through the depths of the draft here, but I figure we're almost at 100 picks at this point, so we've made it this far, so we might as well see it through to 100 at this point.
Get to an even hundy.
I'm gonna get some shit for this one, or stuff for this one. Sorry.
This is only YouTube. It's okay.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm good. All right.
We basically auditioned the Negadelphian, and he failed like 8 times. He used the 8 words that you can't say on him. He used 7 of them.
So tough.
And he's like, I won't do it on air. I'm like, yeah, probably you will.
I know. I'm waiting for me to slip. I know.
That's funny.
Wow.
That's
defense. Guys, our first defense off the board.
That's what I was saying. That's why I was going to get some crap about it.
Number 2 defense on my board. I mean, it's tough on defenses this year, and there aren't any fantastic defenses. I got 4 blue rated, but none like boy. I have to have this one above the rest. But I mean, they're right up there at number 2 overall. And the thing is, they have, from a schedule perspective, I measure from a number of different perspectives. One of them is how many quarterbacks you're facing who are likely to throw a lot of interceptions. Jets have the most favorable schedule in that respect. So you can see a lot of picks this year, and that could give them some upside.
Did you have the Browns as number 1?
I believe I got the Cowboys, even with the Bland injury, or I still have them. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I had forecast them in for a drop off from that, and then I dropped it again. I've got a big play, splash play category, and I downgraded them from there. But they've got so many players who can make those kind of splash plays. But it's Cowboys, Jets, Niners, Ravens are the top 4, and really, if I ended up with any of them, that's fine. I prefer the Cowboys, but not like huge. Got another 6 teams behind them who are good starters too. So Browns are 8th on the board and one of the top, and they've got blue rated upside. So,
I mean, my only concern with Dallas is they're going from Quinn to Zimmer, and those are 2 different types of schemes. So my only concern is that how does that impact those players?
Yeah, it does. But if you've got that many splash play players, you're probably going to be, and there's a good chance you'll be all right there. So.
All right, so Clemic went Jordan Addison and Jonathan Brooks. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
I'm in the middle of drafting, so I gotta give a second.
Andy?
Oh, Jaden Reed. Damn, he was in my queue. I love Jaden Reed. Oh, I actually have him in one of my other keeper leagues. I kept him. I got off the waivers for nothing last year. I think I wanted to love Reed stack potential there. I think that's a gorgeous pick at this late round.
Although I'm not fully sure if Nick Earnshaw's picking or if he's auto drafting at this point because of the fact that he took Jerome Williams in the pick before that. So
I'm very surprised to see Zach Moss down rated this low. I'm going wondering what the heck he's doing this far low.
I think the problem is. I think the problem is, Casey, I think most people don't even know that Zach Moss is the running back in Cincinnati.
But they have him rated this low, too, because I got Zach Moss 21st in my running back chart. So
let me ask you this, Casey. Is for the Chargers, I just see that like J.K. Dobbins can't stay healthy, and Gus Edwards, in my mind's eye, I see him as a rotation 3rd guy at the goal line. He's listed 1 on the depth chart with the Chargers. Like, is he going to get volume? Like, is he like? I just don't see him as a good fantasy option. Am I wrong? Like,
well, I've got to caveat this by saying I am a Michigan man, so went to that college years ago. So, but as far as Gus Edwards goes, so there's that there. But the Niners, when Harbaugh was their head coach, he ranked 9th at high rush depth, so we know they're going to run the ball a ton. Edwards, downhill rusher, exactly the kind of rusher that they want. Edwards, superb goal line rusher. Only Jalen Hurts had more rushing touchdowns inside the 5 last year. He's got a 12.5 yards per reception in his career. They got a really favorable early schedule, and Harbaugh likes to go with the lead back setup. So I picked it on bell cow, lead back, platoon, committee as the 4 different structures, and I've got Edwards as a lead back, maybe on the borderline of lead back and platoon, depending on how Dobbins goes. But even if he's a platoon back, to get him at this late in the draft is great because I think he's going to be the goal line back, and that's still a really good offense. And I think Harbaugh will find ways to, he's not going to ignore the idea of Justin Herbert throwing the ball. So I think Edwards gets a lot of goal line opportunities.
Nice.
All right, let's see what we got here. All right, Andy, you're the Browns guy here. Jerome Ford just got picked a little earlier.
Jerome Ford is the question everyone wants to know is when's Nick Chubb coming back? And what I'm hearing from my Browns people is think late October, possibly the Steelers game, late October. And then you have to think, okay, is it a couple games? Look, this offense has also been switched. This is not the Browns offense from years ago. They got Ken Dorsey in there. And it's to throw the ball, make Deshaun Watson comfortable. So PPR, Ford is a nice pick because he can catch in those extended run plays. I was at the Titans-Browns game last year in Cleveland, and Ford caught a gorgeous ball from Watson. I think Ford's a nice pick. It is going to be less running, more committee, though, because you do have Nyheim Hines is going to be coming back. Donta Foreman's there. So there is going to be more of a committee mode. But at this point in the draft, Jerome Ford's, to Casey's point, he takes on that lead back role, but he's not like a bell cow.
Yeah, agreed. And they've got some fantastic run blocking up there and really creative run plays too. So they've got a lot of different ways. They don't just say like Detroit a lot of times with with Montgomery. They just say, "Look, we're running outside zone. You're just going to stop it. We're mid zone. We're going to stop it." They don't, they don't mix it up a whole lot. Whereas the Browns will really mix it up. And I think that's the thing. They'll find a way, even if Chubb comes back. If Ford is showing those breakaway skills he had last year, because he had fantastic breakaway percentage. If he still shows that next year or this year, I think they'll still find a way to say, fine, maybe you're not going to be the guy all year, but we're not going to just put you on the bench because there's talent here,
Yeah.
By the way, Billy Schweim stole the Browns defense from Andy McNamara.
Oh, damn it. I did see. Oh, rats. Myles Garrett's going to be, oh my gosh. I know he's good. He's going to be better.
Even though Billy's not in the stream with us, I feel like Billy is paying attention way more than years past because he seems to be making picks based on what Andy and Casey are saying on here.
And I took Gus Edwards. Casey, you convinced me. I took Gus.
I'm killing my team here.
I took Gus. And then I took Butker. At this point in the draft, I'm like, am I going to take my, sixth wide receiver who I'm not going to play, or take a kicker who I'm going to play every week? So that's why I took him there.
I mean, I went Elliott because I've already seen a couple kickers go off the board. So it's just like if I'm going to go for a kicker, I might as well go now. So I went Jake Elliott, Jake the Make.
Yeah.
By the way, Jake the Make and I are the same height. So
really,
yeah, we because when we were down at Connor Barwin's fundraising event in Sea Isle, Make the World Better Foundation back in June, they had, because Connor had Bo Allen out there, Trent Cole, Malcolm Jenkins, Jake Elliott, a couple other guys, and we had Jake on the radio on 97.3 ESPN. Super nice guy. His wife was taking all the pictures for us, getting all the the photog stuff. Bo Allen dropped an F-bomb on the live radio. We had to dump that, but
Oh man.
jeez.
and then Connor Barwin turns and he was like, "Dude, what's wrong with you?" It's like live on the radio. And I told Bo Allen, I'm like, "Bo, this ain't the Greenland podcast, man." Like, but yeah, me and Jake Elliott, same height. Reading it
Same
that
height. Okay.
Let's see here. Where are we at in the draft? Steelers have gone. Chubb's an interesting guy in the 12th round. Let's see here. Brandon Aubrey. So we got more kickers. There goes the Cowboys defense, Casey.
Yeah.
Hey, Adam, I like that Chase Brown pick. He's somebody I was thinking about trying to get because he could Moss a run for his money. Brown's got great breakaway numbers, small sample size, but great breakaway numbers.
Clemic went Chiefs defense. So where do we have the Chiefs rated at this year, boys?
7 because of a real tough schedule. They love the talent, love the play calling and things, but they have one of the toughest schedules. The Browns have arguably the toughest schedule across the board, but the Chiefs, I have 4 categories for that, and it's a 1 to 100 scale. They don't rank 21. They have a 21 score, 21 or lower score in every one of the categories. That's the only reason I got them rated low. I still like him as a weekly starter because Spagnuolo is that good.
Really quick, so before I let you guys go, so both Nick Chubb and TJ Hockenson have gone in the last couple of rounds. Those are 2 guys who are going to miss the starts of the season. How do we feel about picking guys who you have to stash?
I like it in the sense where if you're picking late, again, who we're picking now, you don't intend to necessarily start. You might like upside, handcuff, whatever, but you don't intend to start. So do you stash a superstar who was in the past, park him on IR, and maybe he comes back and helps you just in time for the playoffs in fantasy, and that's how you can win a championship. So at this point in the draft, I like it.
Yeah, swing for the fences on later picks. I mean, especially if you can get a guy who might have a high floor depending on where you're picking him, and he has a high ceiling. Like I'm going to pick Jameson Williams here in just a second. I think fits that perfectly. I think he could be fantastic in that offense. Yeah, and again, with your lost value here, you can get your replacement value here, replacement, they talk about replacement value and all these different things. Your replacement value here, if you go for a safe pick, is pretty easy to get. So go with the guy that has upside because then you can always replace the other guy if you have to, especially 10-team league.
And what's interesting is I just pulled up Casey's list here because, Casey, you already have Nakua and Deebo Samuel. So now you're adding to Kirk Williams. So I think we can say that Casey might have one of the best wide receiver groups in our fantasy league right now.
And it's lots of depth. There are tons and tons and tons of depth. I talk about red and green rankings and all that. I mean, there are 45 receivers I have who have a green rated overall grade, which means they're solid starters. It goes that deep. And if you talk about upside grades, as far as players who could potentially get there to a green rated upside, or either to a solid start if they have a good season, like Keon Coleman or Jameson Williams, you're talking 61 players of that caliber. I mean, it's a loaded position this year.
So Mr. Mega Negadelphi and PJ, he just took Jerry Jeudy. So now his wide receiver group is Devontae Adams, Stephon Diggs, and Jerry Jeudy. Little thin on the and Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen's the other one. That's an interesting, not a bad group there, PJ. We got Chris Godwin as well. So nice job there by PJ.
Oh, great. And Allen being 230 pounds now, reportedly, he's going to be I guess he's bulking up to say, hey, I'm going to take the hits as a possession guy. So he knows, hey, I'm not going to be the vertical guy anymore. I'm going to be almost a pseudo tight end, which is, hey, it's fine. It's what they need. If they use Cole Kmet and he can have him be out there for good short yardage targets, that's fantastic. It stretched the defense of the other guys.
Right, give him the targets. Yep.
Yeah, big time.
See, it's funny because I had literally picked Rona Dunze because I'm concerned if Keenan Allen's going to stay healthy.
Yeah. I think Keenan's concerned too. So
I mean, he is older. I mean,
Yeah.
he's not young. So
He's
like-
in that Julio Jones phase now, guys, where every week there's a Q or a D beside his name and you panic and then he plays and then you do your dad. It drives me nuts.
I felt like for the sport Chargers, like every year it was like, it's like Mike Williams goes down, like Keenan Allen goes down. And like Andy and I would be on my show and we'd be talking about like, is it Josh Palmer week?
One time it was.
It was one. There was that one game. He
One
had
or
like
two,
100
yeah.
and whatever yards and like 2 touchdowns. And it's like, there's
Yeah.
the guy from Tennessee.
There he is. Boy.
That's the thing of being in a 10-team league like this. I'm looking at the board. There's still a lot of players. I'm like, oh, wow, okay, I like that guy on my team, like that guy. But there's still tons of good, solid talent. I mean, depth talent, obviously, but solid talent of guys who can be like, okay, I can see this person being a contributor on the team this year. It's a very deep draft this year.
A couple of us Seattle guys have gone here. How do we feel about the Seahawks offense this year?
I'm hoping for DK. My guy DK, I picked him. I'm hoping. I think Geno Smith's serviceable enough. I think he's good.
Serviceable enough.
Yeah. He distributes the ball.
Thing is, they got Grubb. Grubb when he's in the UFC, and he's been if you look at his history, he's done a good job as far getting good passing games going. He has you got McDonald there, and McDonald, he's from the Harbaugh school, and maybe I saw Michigan run a lot of 10 personnel last night. So okay, maybe, and then they went back to who they are. Maybe he goes that way, but McDonald has also said, "Hey, we are going to run the ball." That's the big concern: is how many targets are they to begin with for the receivers? Like their talent, and there's talent to be able to throw to them, and they've got a good offensive coordinator. When McDonald puts the hammer down and says, "Hey, we're throwing the ball 500 times this year, and that's it," that can be an impediment. So that's the only concern.
I'm going with the stash move here. I'm going Hollywood Brown just because there's potential there.
There is. If you've got Patrick Mahomes throwing the ball to you, that's
That's not bad.
Yeah, that helps.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but we're at the part of the draft, and now we're all just kind of like rationalizing stuff to ourselves. No, I purposely made the move I did though because I wanted to see what you were doing, Andy. So you didn't go backup quarterback. So I'm going to go backup quarterback here. I still believe in the Jim Harbaugh is the magic man when it comes to quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And if Justin Herbert can throw for 4,000 yards with an idiot like Brandon Staley as his head coach, imagine what he's going to do with Jim Harbaugh in his ear.
Yeah, I Justin Herbert. I was debating him. That I'm like, well, I got Love, and maybe if he's there when I swing back, there's a couple other backups I have target. But you're right, like Justin Herbert. Now that foot thing, is that going to linger? But if he's on, good Lord, like that's tremendous. I got my defense out of the way. 49ers D still I think is going to be really good, and Dalton Schultz. I kind of have him as my safety net. I always like to get a backup QB and backup tight end, because the Pitts angle, I believe in the upside of it, but we've also seen him disappoint. And if he does, I kind of have that steady Eddie lower Dalton Schultz, who I think is going to be okay.
So we just got Caleb Williams off the board. So I heard that. I mean, you saw some options with backup quarterbacks here. I mean, Kirk Cousins, Deshaun Watson, Trevor Lawrence, Tua, Jared Goff, Matthew Stafford, who apparently everyone in the league loves. But Casey, let me ask you this question about. I've been wanting to ask you about this because I haven't actually talked to you. All of these people who are like league executives and like former players, they all think Matthew Stafford is like a stud, right? But like the people who are not those people, they all don't think that way about Stafford. What is your reaction to
that? Hey, if you're a tough guy who can go fight through the injuries that he fought through, because they're going to see that up close and personal. That hey, look at what this guy's gone through. He's broken his back a couple of times and come back. You see things like that, you're going to get a level of respect from people that if you're just looking at numbers, you're just looking at highlight films, you're not going to see. So I think that's a big part of it. Is hey, who is he in our locker room? And he's that guy in the locker room, and I think that makes a big difference to people.
Dave, what is your reaction to that when like you have all these guys who are current and former players, they love a guy, but the analysts who look at him and they kind of like, oh, I don't know, because of the injuries.
Well, just I play with some guys that come back with an attitude. I play with a guy that was one of our safeties that broke his leg, same leg break as I had. Woods. Can't think of his first name right now.
Not Robert Woods. No.
No. This is a safety back from the Chiefs.
Oh,
03. No, this is 02. He broke his leg right after I did it, and he came back and made this Pro Bowl the next year. It just depends. Some people have a dog in them. Some people let that adversity take them away. I don't. It just depends who it is. But this kid was who's our safety there?
Clemic, you're on the clock, by the way.
Oh man. All right. I had somebody queued up. Oh yeah, no. Oh, he's off. Somebody got him. You guys, come on.
You guys.
Who took Rashee Rice? They may take him.
That was a while ago.
Jeez, you guys know he's gonna go to jail for 10 years.
But until then,
see how bad.
Until Jerome Woods,
yes, Romy. The next year, after the year he broke his leg, he went to the Pro Bowl.
He did. He had two touchdown returns off of interceptions.
He was our only Pro Bowler on defense that year.
That is correct.
So, like, just to say, and we had a special teams guy, Gary Stills, made it too.
Gary Stills, that's correct.
He was a special teams guy, but that was after a leg break, and that's like the only guy I've ever seen that really could jump back and play that well after that much adversity.
Yeah, that team, that was a 13-3 team under Dick Vermeil that year.
I thought we had one. I saw Peyton Manning single-handedly shredded us
in the postseason.
It was just, we couldn't do anything about it. There was nothing we could do.
That was that Priest Holmes 27 touchdown season, by the way.
Beast Holmes.
Let me see here. So who are some of the last picks we got in here? Clemic went Kirk Cousins. Casey went Trevor Lawrence. Nick Earnshaw went the kicker, Evan McPherson. Guys, before we wrap up the stream here, we got a viewer on YouTube. He left a question here. He says, so I've come to realize my formula after 8 rounds of drafting a team is when you start stacking, then handcuffing, either late or mid-round drafts, followed by a defense in the 12th or 13th rounds. What is your guys' reaction to that strategy?
After the 8th round of drafting your team, I think it depends. Do you have all your starting positions properly filled? Like, do you feel comfortable with it? Right? Like, do you have your tight end? Did you miss out and you got a middling tight end? And you know what? You should probably swing back and get a backup just in case. So I think it depends. Are you comfortable with your star power layers? And if you are, then get your best defenses and kickers later on.
Yeah, and if you've got real reliable guys who are in place, like if you've got a Christian McCaffrey, you got somebody probably is going to stay out, like Derrick Henry, you have to back them up. Yeah, you should, but I'm a big believer on handcuffing all your running backs if you can. But if you've got those guys, you don't have to worry about them quite as much. And I think when you get in the later rounds, you should be looking at a team going, Where do I need to shore up? And I don't just mean like, okay, I don't have enough players in this position. Have I taken too many risks here? Okay, like, do I have a high floor guy? If I've got like a few risky guys in front of me, a couple of risky running backs, I'm on a high floor backup or something, high floor receiver or something, because you should be solving those problems. You should be coming out of a draft having solved as many problems as you can inside the draft. Because as I said, right now, if you've given your homework, there's tons of value still on the board right now in this league, and you should be able to in any league actually, unless you're getting like, well, I'm in some 18-team leagues, so
that's insane.
Yeah, I'm in one football diehards league. It's 32 teams.
Oh,
you can take each player twice. It's IDP. It is the most insane league ever. You think guys who are on this board right now, you could look at. I mean, you go down. You'd have to get down to like. I'm serious. You'd have to get down like. I'm looking at guys even backing up here, like, and it's just all sorts of people who wouldn't even be like. Yeah, that person's already taken because we have 8 IR spots, 5 taxi squad spots. You have 45 player rosters. It's ridiculous.
Jeez.
Oh man. So I need some backup running back here. So I'm gonna go with a bit of a reach here, guys, because I don't know if J.K. Dobbins is gonna stay healthy. And Blake Corum is a guy that was used a lot of Michigan. I could totally see a scenario where the Rams, I think the Rams are a team that's going to run the ball a little more than we realize.
Yeah, and remember, Kyron Williams, big Kyron Williams, he's not a very big guy. What is he? How big is Kyron Williams? Kyron Williams 195? Is 195, yeah.
Oh my, I literally just guessed that.
I think it says 203 here, but I've seen different rankings for it. He's 5'9", he's not a big guy. He's not
guys, I'm 203, okay? Good Lord.
Kyron Williams is listed as 202. I mean, he's not a big guy, and you bring Blake Corum because he can. I mean, all the touchdowns he scored, scored more touchdowns than anybody in Michigan history. I mean, it's one of those things where that's you bring him in so you don't have to give Kyron Williams that kind of wear and tear. But having said that, McVay, our writer Jordan Rodriguez, she says that McVay is just like Kyron Williams. He's going to be my godson. Like he's just so totally sold on him. So.
By the way, as with the Eagles defense here, I am a big believer in Vic Fangio, Casey. I'm a big believer in when you hear young players like Jalen Carter and all the young guys saying, we love that he's an old school coach. Like to me, when the players buy into the coach, it really matters. Yeah.
And the thing is, the advanced metrics last year, Miami was doing fantastic, and a bunch of them advanced metrics liked his game a lot. And that advanced metrics often translate to fantasy production, and he usually gets good pass rush, a really good pass rush, and pass rush usually counts for, if you count not just sacks but forced fumbles off sacks, pass rush that forces interceptions, pick sixes off of those. You add all that up, usually it's 50% of value comes from pass rushing and DST. So and he can get that too. So I'm a big fan of Fangio's work, especially in fantasy.
Hey guys, Dicker the kicker got paid, and now he got picked by Danny Ryan. So Cameron Dicker off the board.
Off the board.
I remember him playing at Texas. He was just like you would see signs in the crowd, like the girls hold signs like, "Say Dicker the kicker, please marry me." Like
celeb kicker.
The kicker was almost more popular than anybody else just because of his name.
What, Casey? What do you think about Adonai Mitchell? This is I picked him, and I love. He caught every year. I get someone I call a combine crush, and I freaking love this guy. I was hoping the Browns would draft him. Said he goes to the Colts, but I think from where I got him, the just the smoothness, the upside. I know they got Pittman there, but as someone who could blend with Anthony Richardson, I really like Adonai Mitchell.
Give me just a second. I'll make my pick, and then I'll give you a heads up there. I'm just going to pick Antonio Gibson here, get him out of the way.
Nice.
He scored 11 receiving touchdowns, fifth most in the campaign in Texas history. He's tied for fifth in the Big 12 in catches at 10-plus yards, tied for 10th in receptions at 30-plus yards. He scored a touchdown in 5 straight CFP contests, so big stages don't bother him. Yep. Pittman has struggled on deep passes most of his career, so I think Mitchell is going to be the vertical guy. So it's a rookie wide receiver, but at this point in the draft, as far as a guy who can, I think they'll. And he may only get 60, 70 targets in this offense, but if you're this kind of a big play guy, you might put 6 of those in the end zone. That's the case. It's a heck of a pick.
Nice, good, okay. I felt good about that. I just was, I just loved how he looks, smooth, 6'2", just a good looking guy. Give me a Donnie Mitchell, baby.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
where are we at in this draft? It looks like
2 picks left each, I think.
I mean, we made it this far. Should we just keep going, guys?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, they got around that. We're going to get kickers from here, so.
Well, Dicker's off the board, so. Jim McClain went Jake Moody of the 49ers.
Now, the funny thing is on kickers. Funny thing is that kickers did a study for the Athletic and found out that basically, obviously, you want kickers who have PATs don't matter. Everybody kicks PATs about the same rate and all that. And even with a good offense, bad offense, doesn't make enough of a difference statistically. Short field goal, same thing. Every kicker can make a short field goal. If you can't, you're not going to be in this league. How good you are. What's your long distance kicking? That's really like the difference maker in kicking anymore, as far as fantasy points.
I thought Greg Zuerlein's hung around this long. I mean, that guy still got a leg.
Yeah,
Break the leg.
Yeah, big time.
He may not be the most accurate kicker in the league, but the odds of him making a 58-yard field goal. Ooh, that's a good pick there by Danny Ryan. Romeo Dobbs. How about that?
Yeah. Why are they talking about Deshaun?
This late to get Dobbs, yeah, that's a really deep receiver room, though. Tons of talent there. But the thing is, I mean, they've got, as I mentioned, they use receivers near the goal line, and they're going to keep doing it. And the thing, if you're at this point in the draft, I mean, if Dobbs puts 4 or 5 in the end zone, it more than makes this pick a good pick. It's a value pick at this point.
Guys, am I missing something? Why is Brandon Cook still available?
It's a valued rug.
Go get him.
Why is Brandon Cooks available in the 17th round? I thought he was gone by now.
If anybody picks up on that joke, please let me know on the side.
I didn't fully hear what you said, so.
It's a valued rug. It's like the edited version of the Big Lebowski when he says,
my draft is done. Boom.
So Andy went with Stafford. All right.
And Jalen Wright. I know it's such a mess in that Miami backfield, but an injury here or there, again, the upside of him, if the opportunity presents itself, is really good.
That is true.
I got Brandon Cooks 39 on my wide receiver board. I wish I would have seen that he wasn't taken off the board. That's a fantastic pick at this point.
I literally was just scrolling, looking, and I'm like, who is still available? And I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, why didn't he show up earlier on the the rankings? Might be I don't know. Maybe there's a reason to think of. Every time I see him, like, well, wait a minute, why is that ranking the way that it is? But I'm still comfortable with where Cook's there. He's got a real good schedule.
You know what? I'm going to go with a guy who probably doesn't have a lot of value to people, but I think Tyler Boyd might be an option in Tennessee.
Yeah, they're going to
get hurt. Yeah.
He should get 75, 80 targets regardless. And if somebody gets hurt and they got 2 injury-prone guys, he can get 125 targets. Yeah. Love the Jalen Wright pick, too, by the way. Fantastic at this point in the draft. And that offensive, with given the injury histories of the running backs in front of him, yeah, I think he could get some carries.
All right, guys, before we get out of here, any last words of trash talk from anybody?
I just hope everyone has a good time.
Good luck. Good luck.
I hope we're all dear friends at the end.
Yes.
PJ, I would like to call PJ out. PJ said he wins every league that he's in, so you guys are going to hate him.
Wow.
Yeah, PJ, how do you do
I feel like I got stiff competition this time.
Defending champ, baby. I paid for the ring with the winnings.
I love it.
He literally did. He literally bought that ring.
Look, I got the league logo and everything. 97.3. Boom.
That's
the finest fake diamonds you can buy, folks.
PJ, what leagues have you won in the past?
For me, you know what? I got my most unique one the year before. I won a college fantasy football. The first and only one I was in. A college. It was an 18-team league. Really interesting. So I won that one, and then I got 2 other ones in the past from TSN leagues up there. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 or 5 on the fantasy football side. Then a bunch of seconds and thirds and all that good stuff.
Cole Kmet going in the 18th round. That's a pretty good value.
Not bad. Yeah, that's nice.
Poor Marvin Mims. He's on a rough team.
I'm just now looking for people's names that I know. It's like
I got a feeling we're gonna have a pretty good waiver wire going here.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we
with
are.
10 teams,
That's
yeah.
gonna be the battle. Yeah.
Yeah. There's lots of value still left out here, tons of it, and but yeah, you got to play a 10-team league. You usually should have a real valuable team too. So it's one of those things.
Mhm.
Where you trading off, who you dropping on things. But
Yeah.
That's the good thing about 10-team leagues too. Is later in the year you can still keep a good team and can like if you get in the 12, 14 team leagues, like on an 18-team league I'm in, it's like end of the year. I mean, if you've got injuries, you're just not making up for it. You can do it here.
Yeah. Great point. Yeah, here it does give you that flexibility, and there is still talent available. I'm just looking at my team. I like it. I'm pretty. Sometimes you come out of the worst thing is when you come out of a draft, the start of the year, all the excitement. You're like, I hate my team. I hate it, and then you're just miserable. You're like, I can't stand it. I want to quit. No, I like this team though. I like it. I got Jordan Love, QB, Jonathan Taylor. Okay, feeling pretty good.
well, listen, I want to thank all you guys for jumping on the stream. Obviously, we had 5 people in here, so we got at least half the league in here. Nick Earnshaw texted me earlier. Apparently, he was doing our draft while doing another draft. His other draft started late as well, so he was never able to jump on the stream with us.
Oh,
Also, as I mentioned earlier, Billy Schweim is not feeling well, so Billy get better. He's all Z packed up apparently right now. So, Casey, tell the folks about where they can find all your coverage at The Athletic, right?
Yep, at The Athletic, you'll find, in fact, I'm working on an article tonight about one fantasy item for what you can expect for the 2024 season for every team, but they've got a bunch of articles there, 6 articles there. Draft guide, if you're still going to late draft, you can still buy my draft guide at thefootballscientist.com, 200 player write-ups, 50,000 words, tons of downloadable charts and such, so all kinds of good stuff there. And if you use the promo code, I think Gil was the promo code that we had because on the Mike Gill show, you use that, you get 10% off.
Andy, tell us about the Sick Podcast.
you get it on YouTube, The Sick Podcast with Andy McNamara, on Twitter, X, at SickPodBrowns, at AndyMC81. I know there's Browns in the names, but we talk tons of fantasy football betting. Have a ton of fun on there as well. So Instagram too, at AndyMC Sports.
And Clement, let's give a shameless plug for Clement Performance Method.
Hi, Clement Performance Method Elevator Talk. It's a place where we would increase athletic output by metrics that you've probably never heard before, but we increase the miles per hour that you can run by 2.5 miles per hour and your vertical leap by 8 inches. So come get some. Yeah.
Hey.
I just spoke at Naval Academy. I did an hour-and-a-half lecture, and if they believe what I'm saying,
he got a
you believe
standing
what I'm saying.
ovation at the Naval Academy.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, I wasn't even prepared for that. I once I turned around, they were all on their feet. I was like, okay, I'm humbled, but I thought the information was stout. I did a decent job.
And Dave, you've worked with Bo and Max Melton, who are now in the NFL.
Yep.
Austin Johnson is now on the Bills, right?
Yeah.
So, and back in the day, you worked with Dennis Seidenberg.
Sides, yep. I did never work with either one of the Gaudreau brothers, but I was very close. They were working out in the same place I was training a lot.
Gotcha.
But I never got to actually work with them. They had their own trainer. But that's just super sad story.
Yeah. Definitely a sad thing with the Gaudreau brothers. Dave, thank you for coming in the studio with me. Also, thank your wife for letting you escape the house for.
She's watches. She was watching. So I was like, "Oh, did you watch the whole thing?" She's like, "Oh no." I'm like, "Good," because I talked about the ex-girlfriend at one point. PJ knows her.
And PJ, of course, you're every Saturday, Mr. Negadelphia segment on the Locker Room with Billy Schweim on 97.3 ESPN. So PJ, I appreciate you jumping in as well, being the kind of like the test case with everybody else around here.
The new guy. Yeah, no, absolutely. Thanks for having me, man. Yeah, I'm excited about this season. I like my team too. I think I got a good shot at it.
Well, guys, I appreciate you jumping on. We'll be checking in with all of you throughout the season on 97.3 ESPN. Of course, all of you watching on YouTube, like, subscribe, share with your friends. Josh Hennig on YouTube. Have a great night, everybody. Talk soon.
Sounds good, guys.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.